I'm Hayley and I'm one of the pottery tutors at Southend Adult Community College, and in this video I'd like to show you how to join two pinch pots together to produce a very simple bud vase. This technique is really easy to use, and once you join them both together and made a nice hollow form, you can then adapt it and make it and turn it into anything you want. So to start off with, as in the previous video, you need a ball of clay so you can pinch it out. When you make your balls of clay, they need to be the same size, so when you join them together they sit nicely so you get a nice even join, and it looks nice when it's joined together and it's easy to finish it off. So you start off with a ball of clay, roll it in your hand, and then you put it in the palm of your hand, whichever one you feel comfortable with. Put your thumb in up until just past your fingernail, like so, and then you're going to just start pressing out the clay. And as I'm pinching it, my fingers are going that way, so I'm pinching the clay in over itself, and that is so I keep the shape nice and tight and it's easier for me to control. And after a while, if you pinch it too thin, it will collapse on itself, whereas if you pinch it in on itself, it keeps it a nice tight shape. You can then manipulate it afterwards and open it out if needs be. In the last video, just make sure that as you're pinching it out, you are banging it onto the table so you get a nice flat edge. This is really important, especially when you're going to join two pinch pots together. So that's how you start. But I've got two that I've made earlier, and if I put them both together, you can see they fit really nicely. I'm going to use a needle. It's just basically a very thick piece of wire with a slight point on it. If you don't have a needle, you can use a fork, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch all around the outside edge of my pot. And the reason that you do this is so when you join them both together, they act as a key. So there you go, you've got both pots pinched. Then all you're going to do then is, with some water, you're going to just paint the water onto your scored areas. Ideally you use a paintbrush. Basically what that is, it's just clay that's been mushed down with water, so it's almost like a gooey mud consistency. Okay, so they're both coated with water, and then all you're going to do then is just place them both together really carefully. They sit on top of each other really nicely, like that. And then all you're going to do then is pinch the edges together. Slowly pressing the edges together, any slurry or water will just sort of ooze out or splurge. It means you're getting a really nice join and seal. And then once you've done that, you're going to take your fork or your needle or your knife, and then you're going to scratch all along the outside of the seam. So it looks like that all the way around. Then you're going to get a piece of clay and you're going to roll it out on the table between the heel of your hand to your tip of your finger, and just rolling it out in just a motion going backwards and forwards. You don't need any pressure. We're going to make a coil or a little long sausage. And then just a very little bit of water along the seam, and then you're going to just wrap your coil along the outside. And then all you're going to do then is you're going to blend one side of the coil onto one half of your pinch pot, and then the other side onto that half. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around. Be very gentle because you don't want to put your finger through it, and if you find as you're blending it in, you've got too much coil, then just rip it off. Be gentle. If you press too hard, what happens is you can then turn around and push your pinch pot over itself. And then I've got one of these, and this is just a little metal kidney. If you don't have a metal kidney, what's brilliant to use is gift vouchers. You know, the plastic gift vouchers you get in shops? They're fantastic. They're really good to use, and you just use these to just smooth off any excess clay from where you've just joined your coil. Every now and then you just take the excess clay off your kidney. So you land up with a hollow ball of clay, and then what you can do then is just roll it around the table. You can tap it in your hand and just keep turning it around so you can alter the shape. Because it's hollow and it's sealed, the only way it's going to collapse on itself is if you give it a real good squeeze, or you drop it on the floor, or if you really wanted to, you throw it against a wall, which I would not advise because it will stick. Clay is still quite soft, so if I put it on the table, what happens is my bottom will drop. So what you can do then is, whilst your clay is still quite soft, if you want a nice rounded bottom, you just make a donut, little ring donut of newspaper or kitchen roll like this, and then you sit it on in there like a little egg in a nest, and then what happens is that keeps the bottom nice and rounded if you want a nice rounded bottom. Once you're happy with the shape, you can then manipulate this clay and you can do anything you want. I'm going to show you how to make my little bud vase, but you can turn around and do anything you want with it. What you do need to do is, if you want to keep this shape solid and hollow, before you put it in the kiln, if you're going to fire it, you need to make sure that you put a hole in it. If you don't put a hole in it, what happens is when it's dried and it's in the kiln, all the air expands on the inside, and because there's nowhere for it to go in the kiln, it will explode and blow up, and that's it. So I've got the shape I want roughly, and then I'm going to use my needle, put it in, and then you just wiggle it around till you open up the hole, and then use my finger because I don't want it to come out too much. And then all I'm going to do then is I'm going to just pinch out a neckline. And if any of you have watched this season's Pottery Throwdown, it's on Channel 4, when they did their fruit challenge, they all used this technique to turn around and make their own fruit and vegetables. So if you don't want to make a bud vase, you can turn around and have a go at making a pomegranate or a fruit of your choice. Flat neck, turn it upside down, and then you can tap it on the tabletop so you get a nice flat opening in neck. This clay is a little bit soft, so what you need to do is, once you've got the shape you want, let it dry for a little bit, and then you can smooth it out. Until then, you can then use your thumb and your finger to smooth out any rough edges or any cracking that you may have. And then if you want to add texture, just let this dry out a little bit so it keeps its form, and then you can turn around then and impress anything you want with it. But here's my bud vase.